Welcome back. Last time we defeated a turbulent priest. Today we continue to go back underground.
I forgot to mention last time that the streets of Le Monde, such as Rue Bouquet or Rue de Sala, is the French general term for street.
The keys, unlike the sigils, are not single use. They stay in your inventory as a key item. This room will always be a nice break. There will be no one here. Whereas this one does not. And while Dwayne's friends were resistant towards magic, these guys are not. They will be a perfect demonstration for the power of explosion, while it gives you the option to target, or at least to review, the damage done by a body part. It will hit everything within that small sphere. The one downside to those types of spells, like the single target spells, is that it is a large burden on your magic pool. As mentioned previous video, I could always add one of the chain abilities to be one that replenishes magic points, but there's much to be said for just brutal, visceral attacks. Occasionally, cutscenes like this will play while you're in the middle of a room, and you will then be automatically booted into the next one. And into combat. These beefed up bats are scourges. They are vampire bats. They will always drop Vera roots. While not shown in this case, being vampire bats, they will occasionally use a skill called Bloodsuck, which does exactly what it says, and what it's done in other games. Mercifully, unlike, say, Final Fantasy IV, where it will drain hit points and cause a sap or a seizure status, it's just a direct hit point to hit point conversion. In an alternate take for, I'll get into that later, they are a very good example of why, if you have a one-handed weapon, you should equip a shield. And if you're just sauntering around, you should equip a shield anyway. This room, strangely enough, has two chests, one of which seems to be facing the wall. I'm sure there's nothing to this. We also have two new combatants, goblins. Goblins are humans. Well, demi-humans, but they are classified as humans for affinity's sake. And like many things in this game, they jump for no reason. Like a piñata of pain. But no candy. And as you can see, this is a mimic, a beast-type enemy, some sort of, like, hermit crab. As you can see, it has high evasion all around, high defenses all around. I probably should have switched to a blunt weapon.
Unfortunately, their attack animation leaves much to be desired, and timing. They leave a little bit of an awkward tell to it. This pinata, however, did leave a prize.
This is a very pleasant surprise, of roughly 3% chance to drop. As Callow mentioned, Leamond was well known for wines. That was one of them. They are mechanically identical to the elixirs, which, as you may have noticed, I have not yet used the Elixir of Sages that I won from Dwayne, and I will continue not to use it for the rest of this video. We will now start countering occasional chests that require a magic spell to unlock.
Clef is French for key, by the way, and wines are Latin. In this case, valens is for strength.
Unfortunately, besides the grimoire, there's nothing particularly interesting in this chest right now. With the also, finally got a new pair of shoes. Daddy's needed them for quite a while. Seeing as how I'm going against some more goblins, I've decided to switch to the de facto human killer. I was attempting to play that out as long as possible to lower my risk, since I've been quite attack happy and chain happy. It did allow the Hellhound a free shot at me. We've now got another Sturgis and 2 goblins. One of them is equipped with a crossbow. As you can tell, one is trying to close the distance between me, and the other one is making every effort to get the hell away. I mistakenly cast Eureka here. I'll show its effect in the next room. I was attempting to cast a different spell. I was trying to cast Analyze, which is, for all intents and purposes, a very detailed scan. Now previously when I showed this off, all it would do is a very general summary of the state of their limbs, whereas now it provides hit points, strength, and other stats. Critical hits are such a cathartic feeling. It was especially blissful during the Father Dwayne fight. Now, as you can see from the mini-map, this room has multiple exits, only one of which is available to us at this moment. We'll be back here later. Now, with those out of the way, I'm going to show what Eureka actually does. It shows off the traps that are within the room. Whereas before you just walk around blindly and stumble onto something, you can instead cast that and find out what you're going to step into. This goblin in gold armor is a goblin chieftain, and as soon as he gets a turn, you'll see his gimmick. He has support spells, much like us, and usually takes priority on either clearing debuffs, buffing himself, or buffing his subordinates.
So if you have magic to burn, you'll throw something at him, let him dispel it, and then you throw something right back in his face again.
And of course, like many other support units, running like hell when he is cornered. But I'm having none of that. I don't want him buffing his friends, don't want him taking any of my stuff down. I really should consider changing away from that curative combo.
On one hand, it provides quick and free healing. On the other hand, it deprives me of an option of attack.
Now, if I did not go up into that upper corner, there would be a trap that would trigger as soon as I tried to open this chest.
I'm gonna go toss on the ring sleeve, and I'll meet you back at the crossing.
I'm actually quite pleased with myself now that I'm looking at it. I have not been spreading as much as I usually do about my blueness. I went that way considering whether or not I wanted to go back to the workshop, try to do something with the materials that I've gotten, and decided against it. Now, if I was not wearing a shield there, Bloodsuck would do about double damage. I'm buffing here because I know what's coming up in the next room and wanted to see if I could mop the floor with these guys sooner. As you see, I'm not blocked from leaving this room, but in all likelihood the bat would definitely attack, and at least one of those goblins would get a parting shot in as well. The game, much like Final Fantasy XIII, is built around each battle being, to some extent, life and death. In this, not so much, but if you try and run away from enemies, you're going to just suffer a death by 1,000 cuts. This also explains what's coming up next, another boss fight. So far, with the exception of the Ghost and the Lizard Men, we've had quite a few bosses and
After a few rooms.
it's at this time that I've realized that I do not have my Hagane spear, even though knowing what I do now, that is not that big of a deal, but it was a major disappointment. I thought I'd stored it and the Dragonite away when it was just disassembled. So I picked the next best two-handed weapon I could think of, which actually the Wyvern is weak to edged weapons. Certain parts of its body do have a weakness to blunt, and all of it has a resistance to piercing, so that spear would have been utterly useless.
Missing out on the Dragonite is a minor inconvenience, but 1% of teens of damage is rounding error, honestly.
Strangely enough, this Wyvern, as you can see, doesn't really mind the fact that I'm trying to get to its tail. It does end up turning and attempting to stop me from getting to it, but in its attempts to do so, even though it shows that it is ready to attack, it does not.
Since I'm kiting him nicely, and since I've gotten some very nice drops previously without saving, I've chosen to pursue this playthrough despite thinking that I was not doing too well.
I am doing this for not just myself, but for all of you watching. I have called the essay thread Risk Management. There is no risk in just giving up. Quitting is for quitters. Coffee is for closers. Blood is for the blood god. And if it is not my blood, it will be the Wyvern's that he will slake his thirst upon. Besides, Ashley is drunk on power wine. He's not making very good decisions right now, like lowering his risk to climb ever higher. I just can't believe I keep looking over that Elixir of Sages. Well, I did notice that Degenerate wore off. I did not notice that Prostasia also dropped off until right about now. Anyway, in addition to attempting to use inferior weapons or just marginally better weapons, the other attempts did end up with a much more aggressive Wyvern that not only turned on a dime and kept you from getting to his tail, but also attacked much more frequently.
While this time it wasn't just curing hit points before the end of the fight, I count this as another waste of items right before landing the coup de grace.
We have a new spell, which I will not use at the moment. I could have continued onward from the Wyvern, but I decided Ashley needed to sleep his hangover off.